So the question number 2 says multiply out and simplify the following. Now what is the following? We have what? 4x minus 10 root x into bracket multiplied by 2x plus 5 root x minus 7. So we have to first of all multiply and then what? We simplify. So how do you go about this? The first thing to do is that you use the first terms, you use all the terms in the first bracket to multiply the second bracket. That is, we are going to be using what? 4x and minus 10 root x to multiply this bracket. And what you are going to do is that you write 4x bracket open 2x plus 5 root x minus 7 bracket close, and then you bring out this minus 10 root x open bracket 2x plus 5 root x minus 7 close bracket. So these are the first step in expanding or multiplying out what these terms. So what is the next thing to do is to multiply individual terms. Now 4 times 2 will give you what? 8. X times x will give you x squared. Then we have 4 times 5x will give you plus 20. 4 times 5 is 20x root. Now don't forget there's root x here, so we have root x. Now 4x times minus 20 minus 7, it will give you what? It will give you what? Minus 28x. Minus 28x. So moving forward now, minus 10 times 2x will give you what? Minus 20x. Minus 10 times 2x will give you minus 20x with the root x beside it, and then minus times plus will give you minus. Minus times plus will give you minus. And then we have 10 times 5, we have 50. That is 10 times 5, 50. And then we have root x times root x. In sort, whenever you have root multiplying root and they have the same thing under the root cancel out. So root x multiplied by root x, we only have what? X. Minus times minus, we have plus. Minus times minus, we have plus. Minus times minus, we have plus. And then we have 10 times 7, we have 70. We have minus times minus plus. Then we have 10 times 7, we have 70. Then we root what? Root x. So we have successfully opened out now. The next thing is to try and what? Do the analysis, the arithmetic analysis. So this plus 2x root x cancel out what? Minus 10 root x. These are cancelled out. So the next thing is to try to simplify this. We have what? 8x now. This has been cancelled out. Look at this, minus 28x minus 50x. This as if they are the same thing. So minus 28x minus 50x will give you minus 78x. Minus 78x. So plus 70 root x. So now we've gotten to this stage now. And in this stage, what is the next thing to do? Can we simplify this further? That's the next question you need to answer yourself. Can I simplify this further? Now, looking at this, we have a quadratic equation because the highest power of the unknown, is 2. X is raised power 2. And then we have x is power 1 here, x is power half here. So, but in order to solve this quadratically, we can see that this one is under root, which will make it difficult. So we must find a way of eliminating the root by substitutionary method. What do I mean by substitutionary method is that you are going to say let x be represented by a letter. So root x now, let root x be represented by t. So if root x is represented by t, what will happen to the other that are x? Because you are changing the unknown now, which is x, to t. So every unknown must change to t. So if you change the root x to t, x must change, x squared must change. So if root x is now t now, what will be x? Don't forget, if you square this root x, this square will cancel this root, and then it will give you what? It will give you what? X that you are looking for. So meaning that if I square root x, I will get my x. So, and what is our root x? Our root x is t, so I'm going to square this as well. So squaring root x, like squaring the root x, give us what? T squared. So we have our x to be represented by t squared. So whenever we see x, we put t squared. And the last one here is the x squared. Now I'm having x squared here. If x squared is this and I'm squaring x squared, okay, I'm squaring, notice I'm having x here. This x is equal to t squared. X here is equal to t, x is equal to t squared, right? From this place, x is equal to t squared. But if I'm now having square, another square on this x, what would this be? So assuming I square both sides now, and then I square this. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to find something that can be used in terms of t to represent x squared. So I try to square x here so I can have x squared, and then square the t squared, because whatever I do to this left hand side must be done to the right hand side. So I have x squared, then I have t squared bracket t squared. So therefore my x squared will be represented by 2 times 2, which is equal to t raised to power 4. So this simply means that this equation will have to change. We have to change. And how does it change? Now let me quickly box this so that I can have more space to work, right? So therefore this equation here, equation 1 here, we change to what? 8. Whenever we have x squared here, whenever we have x squared, we are going to put t raised to power 4, and then minus, and look, I follow this 78x. What is our x? T squared. So it's going to be 78 t squared, and then plus 70. Now plus 70 root x is going to be what? T. Now we have successfully eliminated the root x now, and we are having everything in t. Now the next thing is to what? Look at this with, because the aim is to simplify the equation in such a way that the unknown x will be in power of 1. So the simplest form of this expression is that you make every of your words result to be in the power of 1. That is, your unknown must be on the power of 1. So that's the aim of this word, of this exercise. So now the next thing is to observe that this expression here is called polynomial equation. And the type of polynomial equation of this expression is called the fourth polynomial equation, because the highest power of the unknown here, is 4. So in order to actually reduce this and solve the polynomial equation, you must assume this to be equal to 0, because that's the way we actually solve what polynomial equation. But before we solve polynomial equation, is there any way we can factorize this out? Because this is a polynomial equation, right, which is a fourth polynomial equation. But can we still factorize this out first? Because what we expected is to factorize whether it's polynomial equation or other equation, because factorization will help you to simplify an equation easily. So in factorizing means looking for common things that all the terms have. What are the things that's common to what? The 3 terms. Now the first thing is to see that we can see that 2 can divide it, 2 can divide this, 2 can divide this, but 4 cannot divide, because 4 can divide this, but 4 cannot divide the 2. So we go for 2. The first thing is that 2 can divide 2, and then they both have t in common. You can bring t as well out. So they have 2 and t in common. So when you say 2 in 8, we have 4. T in t raised to power 4, we have, okay, 2 in 8, we have 4. T cancel one of the t here. We have t raised to power 3. 4 t raised to power 3 minus, now look at this, 2 in 78, 2 in 7 will give you 3. Remainder 1. So 1 in 18 will give you 9. Then t cancel one of the t, it will remain t. So plus, now we have 2 in 78. So 2 in 70 is going to give you 35. And then definitely this t will cancel this t, so we have this. So in other words, we have now t into bracket 4t cubed minus 39t plus what? 35. And this polynomial equation has been reduced. We have two factors now. We have 2t and this. We have this expression and this expression. Now we can further simplify this because this is already in power of 1. But we can further simplify this as a cubic what? Polynomial equation. This is a cubic polynomial equation. This one. 4t raised to the power 3 minus 39t plus 35. We can call it what? Is a cubic what? Polynomial. Cubic polynomial. Polynomial. Cubic polynomial. Now, what you do whenever you are solving this is to use trial and error method. You are going to look for a root of the polynomial equation in such a way that when you put them, you can have this expression to be 0. The first way of what? The first step in solving a polynomial equation using a trial and error method is to look for a root. That is what is going to be the value of t. That whenever you substitute that value of t, you are going to have what? This expression to be equal to 0. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be assuming what? A number for this. We start from 1. If 1 does not work, we use minus 1. But let's start with 1 first. If I start with minus with 1, if I put 1 in this expression, will I have this expression to be equal to 0? Let's try out. Let's try out. So now we have what? 4 into brackets 1 raised to the power 3 minus 39 raised to 1, because this 39 is already t, so 39t, so 1 plus 35. Will it give me 0? That's the question that I need to ask. Will it give me 0? Now 4 times 1 raised to the power 3 is t4 minus 39 plus 35. Now if you look at this very well, 4 minus 39 will give me minus 35. Minus 35 plus 35 will definitely give me 0. So this is an ideal root for this polynomial equation. So since I've gotten an ideal root for this polynomial equation, I can progress. So my ideal root is t equal to 1. Now, since I've gotten the root, I must transform the root to what? To factor that I can use to divide this what? Cubic what expression. The aim is to find a factor, and after getting a factor, you use that factor to divide the cubic expression in order to get a simpler what? Expression. So if I want to turn this root into what? A factor now, I'm going to transfer this 1 to the other side. Transfer the 1 to the other side, you're going to have t minus 1 equal to 0. So the root is, the factor now is t in the bracket 1 equal to 0. Now, I'm going to be using what? This is my factor now. Don't forget, this is root. This is another way of learning polynomial. This is root. This is my factor. So I'm going to be using my factor to divide this polynomial equation. And how do you do division? You use division method. And how do I use division method? I want to teach us how to use division method. So we are going to draw. I'm going to draw this. Yeah. This is a long division method. Using long division method, we're going to have t minus 1, t minus 1 inside, and then we are going to have what? 4t raised to the power 3 minus 39 t plus 35. So these are the expression. So this is the polynomial equation, which is the cubic, and these are factor. And how do you use long division? How many t can we see in 4t cube? So now t in 4t cube, this t will cancel 1t. It will remain 4t squared. So that's what you just need to do. And then what you are going to do next is to say, okay, t multiplied by 4t squared. You're still going to get what? 4t cube back. And then minus 1 multiplied by 40 squared. So minus 1 times 40 squared, you're going to have minus 1 times 40 squared minus 4t squared. Then you are going to subtract. That's why we've got a long division. So definitely this one, because this one minus this one will cancel out. Now listen very carefully. We have what? Minus 39t minus 30. We don't have, see, we don't have 4t squared. We don't have anything, any power raised to power, any power that's having t squared here. So you are going to assume that t squared for here is 0. So what you are going to do is that I'm going to write here so you can get it. So is 0 t squared for this one that is absent minus 4t squared. We know we don't have what? We don't have this thing. We don't have t squared in this time. We only have 40 cube and then it jumped towards t. So meaning that the value of t squared there is 0. So that's why I'm writing 0 t squared. So it's 0 t squared minus 4t squared. So it's going to give you what? Minus times minus will give you what? Plus. So it's going to give you what? 0 t squared plus 4t squared. So which is definitely will give you 4t squared. So there's no need for you to, I'm just trying to explain to you. So this is 4t squared. So you are going to have, what you are going to have here that will be left behind is going to be 4t squared. Then you can now bring this down because this, now there's nothing here again. So we bring this one down. It's going to be what? Minus 39t then plus 35. This is a quadratic equation. We have successfully simplified this using these two roots, using this factor to my 4t squared minus 39t plus 35. So this is what we're going to be working with now. Now, how do I work with this is I'm having 4t squared minus 39t plus 35 using quadratic equation. Quadratic equation, you can use factorization method by finding the two factors like this. 4 times 35 will give you 4 times 35, that is 140. I have 140 squared and I use this method for my students. So plus 140 squared. So what are the two factors which when I have, I'm going to have, which when I have, then when they have them added together, I'm going to have minus 39t. So what are the factors of 140 that which when I add them together, I'm going to have what? I'm going to have minus 39t. I think it's obvious. This one is going to be the two factors. Why? Because there are 4 times 35 will give 140 squared. Definitely. When you add minus 40 minus 40 minus 35t will give you what? Minus 39. So I'm going to have the two factors going to be what? Minus 40 minus 35t. Please look at the factors. You can look at my videos on factorization methods. I've already taught this in time past in Nigeria videos. In my Nigeria YouTube channel, you can find all this factorization method and all this out there. So these are the two factors. So minus 40 times minus 35t will give you plus 140t squared, and minus 40 minus 39t will give what? Minus 35t will give you minus 39t. So these are the two factors. These are the two factors that you can use to solve this quadratic equation, which I will just quickly write here. So my new expression for this quadratic equation will now be, as it's a long process, 4t squared minus 40 minus 35t minus 35t plus 35 equal to 0. So we now have, so what are the common factor here? The aim of this is to look for common factor. We have 40 into brackets, we have ordinary t, 40 into brackets, so we have ordinary t minus 1. Got it? Okay. So what did they have again? We have 35, can go here, you have 35 into bracket t. Now because of this minus, it's going to have minus 1 bracket close equal to 0. Now let me quickly run this to have this finally solved finish. So we have this rubbed off. I will just need to the extent because I'm going to need this t back. So I'm going to leave the other ones and then clean this up. So you have to follow me closely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this line, and then try and box this one. So this, I'm going to separate it so that you won't be confused. So now I've successfully gotten this. Now what I'm going to have now is 40 minus 35 in the bracket t, and then we have what? T minus 1. T minus 1. So we have successfully reduced this quadratic equation into a linear equation. This is an linear factor. We have reduced it to a linear factor. Now going back now, since everything now has been reduced to linear factor, what does this mean? Because the aim of this stuff is to make sure that you get a simplified, or don't forget, a simplified equation, a simplified expression. Now look at the factor that we have gotten. You've gotten this 2 factor for the quadratic equation here. These 2 factors that you got in here is for the quadratic equation, and this is the, when you add another t1 here, it will make it what? Polynomial. Don't forget. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine all the factors. Now for the polynomial, these are the 3. For the polynomial that I get here, it is this factor t minus, this is the first factor, t minus 1 multiplied by the 2 quadratic factors that I get. That is for the polynomial. Listen to me. The polynomial expression that I get here is as a result of the multiplication of these 3 factors, t minus 1, which is the first factor, multiplied by what? 4t minus 3t minus 5 minus 35, and then t minus what? 1. So therefore, if I want to combine this expression now, I'm going to, for the expression for the whole thing here, let me clean this half space. So the expression for this reaction now, this one to this one, so we are going to have 2t now into bracket 4t cubed minus 39t plus 35. Now the whole expression for this will be now equal to 2t. Now this is the first factor. The second factor, the factors for the polynomial equation starts from here, because this is the first factor that we use to divide the polynomial equation into this. So into bracket, so we're going to have first t1, that's 41. The quadratic equation was further simplified to get this factor. So we have what? 4t minus 35, and the last one is what? T minus 1. So these are the 3 factors for the polynomial equation, and this whole equation now, the whole equation has been simplified to this. Now you now recall that finally recall for x. Recall for what? Recall for x that says root s is equal to what? T. Root x is equal to what? T. Don't forget, root x is equal to what? T. So therefore, what does this expression becomes? The expression becomes, the expression here, or the expression here will become, so the expression here now will become, whenever we see t, we put what? With x, 2 root, okay, this is another marker. The whole expression will become 2 root x in the bracket. This is a little bit watery. So this one's going to be 2 root x. 2 root x. What's your x? What's your t again? Root x minus 1 into brackets. What's your 4 root x 4 root x, 4 root x minus 35, 2 root x minus 1, 4 root x minus 35, and another root x minus what? 1. So the whole expression that was given initially, that they say this is how to simplify it, this is the final answer for it. So that's the simple